Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's Kamish, back here with Week 3 game previews. Obviously a lot of injuries in Week 2. It's shaping up the league here, switching it up a bit. Waiver wire obviously going to become huge for a lot of teams. You saw the matchups, let's get into it. The first one there is we got Haha Dix and Sean against Ron and Steel Curtain. You know, it's a divisional game, East Division. So those games are very important, of course. Dix and Sean pulling off the trade for LaShawn McCoy this week, which I think is definitely going to help his team here. And then for Ron, I mean, new owner, but I think he's just had bad luck. He's scored over 200 points both weeks. 200 points is what I usually consider the bar, the minimum bar. But he's played two good teams, and it's resulted in 0-2. But like I said, keep grinding. Next one there, Mike and the CDC will take on George and Pack Attack. These two teams have played each other. They played each other last year. Mike got the better of Pack Attack, 220.10 to get this 110.76 points is what Pack Attack put up that week. So Pack Attack's obviously, since becoming the first ever league champions, been on a huge decline. And for Mike and the CDC, he better start winning these games because right now he's sitting on that cusp of falling to Tier 2, sitting in 17. Next up, we got Danny and Alright versus Susan Fighting Geese. For Alright, I'm looking at him, he's in big trouble. Already sitting in 19th. And then, looking at his lineup, it's fairly thin already, and then he's going to lose Jonathan Stewart for at least 1 to 2. And then, taking on Susan Fighting Geese, who somewhat has a revolving door at running back right now. Obviously, Jamal Charles hurt at the beginning of the year. Now it looks like Doug Martin might be down, but now Charles is back. So having that running back depth is definitely helpful to getting a W. Next up, we got the Commission Stars versus Mark and Luck Commander in a South Division battle. It's a divisional battle for first place, essentially. For Mark, I'm not counting him out here. He has scored big before in his first victory, and if it all comes together, he could win this one. Because, the Commission Stars has to have life now without AP. I mean, AP was a keeper, and obviously that keeper's turning out to be a bust so far, and hopefully the injury's pretty minor. Next up, we got Ryan and Deuce Bombers taking on Robert and Templars. Looking at it right now, Deuce Bombers trades LaShawn McCoy, which, I mean, I get the trade, you get a first rounder, but you're sitting in 18th as well. So right now you would fall to the Tier 2. You got to remain competitive at least for a good portion of the year. And then for Robert and Templars, I think he's just waiting for Odell Beckham to have that breakout game. I think it's just a matter of time that happens. And these two teams have played each other before. They did play last year. Deuce Bombers is 1-0 versus Templars. Beat them by about 36 points last year. Next up, we got Brian and the 12th Man taking on Gwevin and Monsters in the Midway. Huge huge West Division battle here. This one I think is going to go a long way in determining who is the class of this division. I know Brian and the 12th Man, like I said, second place, first place career finishes. But has never won that West Division title. I'm sure he'd like that. And the big one to watch out here, their quarterbacks play each other. It'll be Andrew Luck versus Phillip Rivers. I'm sure they'll both be tuning in to San Diego, Indianapolis, watching that one. Next up, we got Brandon and Chronic Deflator, Master Deflator versus Milan and the 6. I think this one's a big one. It's a true measurement game for both these teams, both sitting at 1-1. Winning this one's going to go a long way into kind of establishing yourself and trying to get a winning record going. And they're both right on the cusp right now of making the playoffs. It's 10th place for Brandon, 9th for Milan. So obviously this one might push them over the top and get them into a playoff spot, currently right now. So big one to watch there. Next one, we got another divisional battle here. Green Lightning taking on Storm. North Division combatants. And obviously they have two original owners, so they have a history with each other. Basically, it looks like Krista is 2-0 versus Lucas in the division battles. Last year beating him by 55 points, and then in 2014 beating them by 33 points. So Green Lightning, though, obviously right now the #1 seed in all of the LOC. So obviously he's this might be the year for him. Obviously Carson Wentz looking like the hero for him so far. And for Kristen Storm, it's Russell Wilson. What's going to happen there? I mean, that O-line is pretty much, it's awful in Seattle, and I mean it's going to be tough sledding for Russell Wilson this year. Next up, it's the stinker of the week. We got Steven in US1. Yes, he's back. He's right where he belongs in the stinker of the week. This time taking on Luke and Too Good for a Name. Third straight stinker here for US1. A win here will go a long way into getting him off the stinker of the week for next week, though, no doubt about that. For Luke, why are you here? Well, no Le'Veon Bell obviously is still hurting you. It'll be nice to get him back next week, but I think some waiver wire help would be good for you this week, and you'll probably get some good ones. And for US1, is it time for him to prove that he's better than what the commission actually thinks he is? So that should be a good one to watch, even though it is the stinker of the week. And then in our game of the week, we got Joshua and Cry Phoenix taking on Chris and True North. An established owner, obviously, Chris and True North. And Joshua, a new owner, undefeated right now in the West Division. You may ask, why is this one the game of the week? Well, there's a few reasons why. The quarterbacks play each other, and they're two really good ones. It's Rogers versus Stafford. Rogers for True North, Stafford for Cry Phoenix. That one should be fun to watch. Antonio Brown's got to bounce back for True North in this one, you got to think. But that'll be interesting to watch there, too, against Philadelphia. And, for both their teams, looking at both their teams, their wide receiver group is deadly. Some of the deadliest in the league. So, the big thing for Cry Phoenix, obviously, at this point is you lose Danny Woodhead. What's going to be the answer at running back now? You don't have anything at running back right now. Maybe a trade, or maybe it's just wait till next year. But it should be interesting to watch. That wide receiver group could turn around any win. And we look forward to watching Week 3, and I hope you are too.